people of YouTube's. I've got a job to do on this one. Now the winter's setting in. Bit of a strange one. As I said, it's winter's setting in and it's raining a lot, and as you can see, I've got spoiler risers fitted. They've been fitted for a couple of years now, but every time it chucks down rain, I get water in the boot, and it drips onto the parcel shelf, and it starts to stink. So I've made a decision, and I thought I'd ditch the spoiler risers and go for a Delta styling rear wing riser. So hopefully that will conquer that bit. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I've got spoiler risers in here. You can probably see there's like 4 little spaces that space out the spoiler. But as I say, it lets water in and it drips down all in here, and it drips down up here, soaks into your seat and soaks into the carpet. So yeah, we will hopefully get rid of that and replace it with this. So this bolts onto the actual boot lid, and then your spoiler, your original spoiler, then bolts onto that, and you get a little fitting kit. And I've opted for these little side plate things. This isn't the cheapest one they do on their website, and I think they're bloody expensive for what they are. But I think this is the best one on the market. I don't want to go RS spec because, like I said before, it's not an RS, so why make it look like an RS? You know, it's an ST. I know a lot of people are into making them look like RSs, but it's not, it's an ST. So we're gonna make a start on getting this fitted. So what we need to do first is to take off the spoiler and see how you fit it. I've got no instructions on how to fit this, so it's just a case of we'll figure it out along the way, and hopefully we don't get it wrong. Delta Styler normally have a video on YouTube to how to fit their spoilers and stuff like this, but I haven't got one for this Mark II, and the only one they got is for a wing for Mark III, which is a little bit similar but not quite. So hopefully we can take some snippets out of that, and hopefully they find sense in that it's going to be roughly fitted the same. So we'll get on, we get this spoiler fitted, get this spoiler taken off first, and then we'll see what we're left with. Alright, so to gain access, we need to pull this off. Like that. And you see I've got 1, 2, 3, I think there's 1 either side, so 5 Allen keys in total. And then we'll see, I need to remove the brake light and the washer jet from that, because it needs to poke through the new spoiler. So yeah, ideally you need to have 2 people to do this, just one to balance it out and to hold stuff into place. Hopefully I didn't over tighten these bolts. me down while I undo that last one because I need to hold the spoiler to stop it dropping on my roof. So I'll remove the spoiler and I'll get this light out and the washer jet out, and then I'll come back to you when we know what we're doing. Right, that's all disconnected. Quite luckily and conveniently, they've put joints in on the spoiler, which is very nice, makes things a lot easier. I think I can see why it's leaking. These stickers that covers up these holes with these clips, they don't quite go over the actual holes themselves. So this one's fine, but these two here either side isn't. Right, and these are the spoiler risers, if you ever know what they are, just space bits of plastic with some longer bolts. Right, let's get this wing over to the bench and I'll clean up all underneath the spoiler as well while I've got access to it, and we'll see about getting this fitted onto the new spoiler extension. Right, so here we go. So I've got a little bag of bolts here, which comes with studs, nuts and a couple of screws. So looking at the Mark III one, they've screwed the studs into the spoiler and then put the spoiler onto the riser and then put the nuts up through the riser. So that's my first port call and task, is to actually screw them studs in. And I've also opted for these plates as well, which goes on the end here. Now again, there's no instructions for it, but if you look in it, there's a couple of little dimples in it, and I've got 4 screws. So I'm going to say I'm going to need to drill this and screw them onto that spoiler like that. That's my guess anyway. I could be wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screw these in here. You don't need to go too mad, just like halfway through, just enough so that will go through the riser and bite the nut on. But as you tighten it down, that will go all the way through if you want to, but you can feel it's just gone a little bit on the tight side. So I think that's where you need to stop. So I'll finish getting them on and then we'll bolt that onto there. Alright, so we've got these little plates here. And as I say, there's a couple of little divots on these. So I've just taken a 4mm drill bit. I'm literally going to drill through the skins. Like that. And then they just go on there like that. You'll get your screws. And I've got a little impact gun that I use. Now you haven't got one of these, then I would suggest you drill a tiny 1.5mm hole in your original spoiler through the plate and then wind it in by hand. And there we go. Right, so I've got my studs in and I've got my end plate on. So now hopefully we can chuck this on. Again, I'll need a couple of hands for this, so let me put you down. for a minute.
A few minutes later.
Right, so a little trick on these nuts, just get some grease on the ends, and you can put it into your socket like that, and that just holds it in there enough for you to start it. I wouldn't go too mad tightening them up, because that is only gripping onto fiberglass and onto a metal insert into another fiberglass panel, so just nip it up enough. So I'm just going to get all the rest of these done, and then hopefully we can then get it back onto the car and bolt it into the next 5 places. Right, so that's all bolted up now. So that's all now one piece. I did have to open up these holes a little bit so I could get the nut on square. You can see how far that one was out on there. But there you go, here's what it is. So now you just got to offer it up to the car, plug it in, and then bolt it back down again. Now if you was to put this on, or take this, your original spoiler off, you should have the 5 10mm bolts that goes into here. Because I've had the risers in, it has longer bolts, which then means that it's no good for these. So I need to find 5 bolts that will go into these nicely. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of silicone sealant around them, or around the body, I should say. So I'll put a little bit of silicone around here, another around here, so when it goes on, it stops any water getting in whatsoever. Because on the original spoiler, as you can see, there's almost like a pad there, like a rubber pad that used to stop the water. And I would suggest using silicone sealant and not something like Tiger Seal or stuff like that, because if you ever want to take that spoiler off, then it's going to be more difficult. Where silicone sealant, you can peel it off easy, and it is literally just to stop the water going in and not as an adhesive, shall we say. Alright, so I need to find 5 bolts, and then I need to balance that on top, open the boot, and then at least get one started so it's then held in position. So I'll get that done first off camera, because again, it's just me, and you do ideally need 2 people to do this. One to hold the spoiler with the boot open, and another guy to...
What about me?
Or girl to put the bolts in. So, right, let's get this done. We'll offer it up, see if all the holes line up, and then we'll silicone sealant it and bolt it into place. Right, there we go. All 5 bolts went in, no problems at all lined up absolutely fine. What I will say is get the 5 bolts in first before you tighten it up, and don't go too mad on it, because again, they are only brass nutserts in a fiberglass shell, so they can quite easily crack and twist. Right, the moment of truth. Shall we shut the boot and see what it looks like? You clean all that fiberglass up on there and just give the spoiler a bit of a wipe over. But yeah, that's miles better. And even with the Maxton designs, lip on it just makes it looks so much more aggressive. And I think for an ST, that looks a lot better than getting an RS spoiler on there. Because again, it's not an RS. As I say, there's several different designs on these. You can opt for just the middle bit on its own, unpainted, untreated. Then you can have what I've gone for, which is option 2, which is the middle bit in a satin black, so almost looks like a plastic trim. And then I've got these wings in the gloss black to match all the rest of the body kit. And then they do an option 3 where they do all gloss black, but I think it's like close to 400 odd quid, I think, for that, which is ridiculous. I think this option was about 270, 280 quid. Or they do a paint service as well, where they will have it all painted body colour. So yeah, I just think that looks absolutely fantastic. And the main goal of this is that hopefully that won't leak anymore. But there we go. That is a Delta Styling spoiler extension with the winglets all fitted. So we've got a lot more things to do on this car as the weeks progress into the Christmas period. So I've taken a long, well, almost a month off not doing customers work throughout December. I've got a couple of jobs booked in, but I've decided on purpose, because all my vehicles are starting to be a little bit neglected because I haven't had time to work on it. So I've had a stack of bits on this one from AirTech, EBC and MTech as well, to fit on it. And I might even go as far as having the wheels redone, because they are really showing their age now. They're a bit dirty in there. They don't look too bad from a distance, but they are all gashed up and chipped up to hell, and all the lacquer starting to peel off. So I might get them redone. So yeah, stay tuned on that one. And obviously we got the new race car that we're doing, and I'll give you a little look, because I've taken the bumpers off to see what's behind it, and this wing. So that's a nice little repair that we're going to have to do on this. So we're going to have to put an inner wing, a battery tray, and I've ordered a new wing for it. Although we could have reused this one and lined up properly, that is a little bit bruised. So we've got another wing to go onto that. So yeah, so that'll do it for today. I don't know what's going to be happening next. I'm still waiting for some, as I say, I've got some stuff left on here, but it's going to be sort of like on the ramp for a week, while we have the wheels done, and then all the other bits and pieces as well. And then I need to move that into the middle of the workshop, so we need to clear all that out of the way. And obviously we've got some roll hoops to go onto the TF, and I've got some interior bits which are away for hydro dipping at the minute. So there's going to be a full interior restoration video on that soon. So yeah, keep tuned, and we'll see you in the next one, I guess. Ta-da!